Hashtag no music, no intro. Saints Block Party podcast. This is not the preview podcast. That is coming tomorrow. This is a mini not even a preview pod. Sorry, this is a mini SBP pod that we're doing because in the most Saints things ever, and I apologize, I'm trying to make sure that it gets posted to Twitter. In the most Saints things ever, we wouldn't be Saints fans without being Saints injury luck. News comes out today. The injury that center Erik McCoy suffered against the Eagles will put him out 6 to 8 weeks. So that's either a month and a half or 2 months where he is out. And we are going to talk about what that means for the offensive line. We're going to talk about what that means for the offense. Uh, we're not going to preview the Falcons game. That is coming tomorrow. No Falcons talk. This is strictly about what the injury to Erik McCoy means for the team, and obviously it's a huge injury. It's a huge injury. I had felt that in the first 2 games that he played this season, he was back to being his stellar self because last season, last season, season and a half, it kind of felt like he was kind of getting by just on like his name, and his play had taken a little dip. But Cam W said, "Ryan, can you donate your groin? You don't need it no more." What Cam W know about Ryan? Does he know something about your groin that I don't know?
Need my groin.
You need it. You need it. Need it.
Need that thing.
Need it.
Need it.
Need it.
Bree ain't having that.
If I'm gonna pose this to you, so we're just gonna be just outlandish right out the gate. If a genie came to you and said, you could lend Erik McCoy your groin, and in doing so, the Saints would be cemented to win a Super Bowl this year, are you giving your groin up? Oh, are you giving your groin up?
I think about it.
Man, let me go to the sex shop real quick, buy some 8 inchers. we'll figure it out, girl.
Hey, look. Hey, sorry, Bree.
We will figure.
See what that mouth do. Need that Super Bowl.
In New Orleans, right? Like, anyway, I'm sorry. But on a serious note, it's a huge injury because I felt like his play had regained to where he was when he was a stellar top 5 center in the league in the first 2 games. Goes out the first play against the Eagles, and now the question is, what does the offensive line look like? How does Clint Kubiak reshuffle the deck? John Benton, what is the plan going to be offensive line? I think you said this in our Discord, and I think there's some truth to it. Is we don't get the sense that they're going to move Cesar Ruiz to center, even though that's what he played at Michigan. He got drafted as a center, then got moved to guard by the Saints. So it sounds like they're pretty intent on keeping him at right guard. And part of me, to some degree, understands that because I feel like in a very limited, sample, him next to Penning, with Penning and how he could be, you don't want to put someone new next to him.
Yeah.
So to kind of keep that continuity, it makes sense. I understand it. But just your initial thoughts and everything regarding the injury and what they may do.
Oh man, it was like just the worst time for it, bro. Because he was playing so well, fit so perfectly with what Clint Kubiak wants to do.
Perfect, man.
He was so excited about this system and all that stuff. So, and he was he was the man on the line, bro. He was the man. He was the one doing all the checks, all the communication as far as how we gonna handle this stunt, how we gonna handle this, which direction not saying which direction, but he the one that got everybody in order. So it's a huge loss, bro. And that's just
Huge.
not even talking about his play, like his actual on-field play. So it's a huge loss. But look, man, like I thought after watching the tape, I thought Patrick did a good job playing center. I
Mm,
don't think he was like, he wasn't getting beat or nothing like that. Not often. He held his own as a center. It's not like he's played center before. He's
right.
been in this game before. He's not completely out of the sorts. So I'm fine with Lucas Patrick getting up in there and playing center. They have a week to prepare and get all the communications down because bruh, communication was terrible. I mean, everybody's seen the
Oof.
little snapshot of Caesar and Udo running into each other, and it was a mess. Like that offensive line was a complete mess against the Eagles, and they're gonna need the line to play. Look, if they can't be like they were the first 2 weeks, they have to be close to it for this team
Yeah.
to be good, bro. And it's all about execution. It's nice to like throw, like to bully a defensive tackle and stuff like that. But a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
times it's just execution. It's just getting a hat on the hat, getting your hands inside of the shoulder pads and pushing just to buy a little time. And that's really all it is. And that's all we're gonna need.
It is, and I would be very interested to kind of just see, if this means that they sign. Like, I don't know, they may try to sign someone to play center. If they do move Lucas Patrick to center, then you have a hole at left guard. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Um,
Bless you, bless you.
Appreciate it. In a perfect world, and we don't live in a perfect world, I understand that. It's just like, man, if that relationship between Andres Pete and Da wasn't where it was, like this would be like the perfect time to have like an Andres Pete in your back pocket, bro.
Oh yeah,
Just
perfect time for that
bring
job.
him, bring him out off the bench, put him at left guard.
And you know what? And Pete in this scheme would have been all right, bro.
He's
He'd
been
have been
all
all
right,
right.
man. Here's something that's so weird to me. We saw them do this with Trevor Penning, where they pretty much just not even pencil, they like wrote him in as a starter for left tackle. Last season, he goes in, he plays a couple of games, he gets benched, and they did almost the exact thing with Nick Soliverdi, in OTAs in training camp, and then he gets injured, hamstring, whatever it was, didn't hear from him as a fourth round pick. I think it was a fourth round pick. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's fifth. But as a and maybe he's just not good. And it's very possible that he's not good. I don't know if it meant anything that Udo went in at left guard instead of Salaverde when all that happened with Erik McCoy against the Eagles. Don't know, but I would just be fascinated to know what the plan is because in my head as a football fan, I'm just going, y'all put him at left guard to start in training camp. Like he was the penciled in almost in pin starter. What changed? Maybe they saw he
I'll
wasn't good,
tell
and
you
maybe it
what
was just the
changed.
injury. I don't
I
know.
think it's just trust. It's like they don't know him.
Yes, right.
They don't know the guy. Like I mean, it was what like a week before he got injured in camp, and I mean, he just ain't played. Like we don't know. We didn't play last year.
Nope.
It's like we just don't know. So he might be good. Like I hope they use this as an opportunity to at least try, at least give him a chance, at least throughout the week to check him out in practice. Because I would like to see him instead of Udo there, because theoretically Salsa Verde is, built to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Should be.
Should be, but we
Should
just
be.
don't know, bro. Like we just don't know. So, and I mean, I just wasn't a big fan of Udo, bro. I wasn't a big fan of Udo left guard. It was not.
Whoo,
It
lordy.
was rough. It was rough. It was rough. It was
Was
rough.
Landon
See,
Young? Was Landon Young inactive?
I don't know. I don't think he was inactive,
I don't think he was
but they didn't.
inactive.
So I don't. A lot of options. I saw they worked out a couple of centers today.
They
I don't
did.
know their names,
Yeah.
but probably just depth. It's gonna be one of the things where they just kind of try to figure out the right combination that works. But they're gonna need smart guys and they're
Do,
gonna need
do,
guys
do, do, do,
that can
do.
move. Yep.
Here's something that has been on my radar, and I don't know if it's we're in the state of Saints fandom where it's become easier for us to do things like this as a fan base. But what people people can't use this injury as a spam call right now as a reason that would justify everything going to shit. Mickey Loomis, Dennis Allen, Derek Carr can't use this as like if things don't go well. Like this can't be the sole reason because there are so many other teams. The Rams played the 49ers on Sunday, was down. The Rams should have lost that game. I get it. They have Matthew Stafford, and Matthew Stafford is head and shoulders above Derek Carr. I completely understand that. But the Rams were missing most of their offensive line. The Rams were missing Puka Nakua. They were missing Cooper Cup. Tyler Higbee didn't even start the season, and Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford figured out a way to cook and come back and beat the Niners. Like, excellent coaching. The Steelers have Justin Fields. They drafted the other Polynesian tackle in the draft this year. He got hurt before week
Yep.
3. He was their left
Mm-hmm.
tackle. Arthur Smith is making it work with Justin Fields with a bad offensive line and George Pickens. Like,
Not much.
not much. Matt LaFleur has Malik Willis, who looked like a all-time. I mean, not. I mean, he was drafted like later in the draft, but like an
Yeah.
all-time bust at the
Bust.
position at quarterback.
Thrown away by the
Goes to
Titans. Just throw them away. Just get out of here.
throw it away. Say here, y'all goes to the Packers and shot even Brian Flores because said this ahead of their matchup is he's like not enough people talking about what Matt LaFleur is doing with Malik Willis right now.
Right.
He has changed his almost entire offense on the fly to fit his personnel to ensure that the team is put in a position to keep winning football games. I
And
don't
not to cut
go
you
ahead.
off, but change Malik Willis' life, like for
Life,
real.
bruh.
Like, cause I was like, man, Malik Willis might be out the league. You know what I'm saying?
League,
Like,
bruh.
it's just
It
how
looked bleak.
looked
Bleak.
bleak. Just in that preseason game we played, I'm like, ooh, like, man. Now just putting that on these 2 games on tape for him, you get no backup job. Like you're gonna get a backup job somewhere, if not with the Packers. But anyway, go on what you're saying.
It's just we as a fan base, the excuse of well, Eric McCoy got hurt. And we'll get to the injury report next week. It sounds like it, or tomorrow, so we're not next week. Tomorrow sounds like it's going to be a doozy. We'll get to that. But all I'm saying is that good teams, good coaches, good coaching finds a way to win and adapt. That's what the NFL is. Bruh, this is a sport where grown men are running at each other going 20 miles an hour and have collisions. People are going to get hurt. Happens across the league. So that just can't be the sole thing. Clint, as good as he was in week 2, was a combination of a couple of things with regards to the Eagles. It was he didn't adjust, he didn't adapt to the game plan that Vic Fangio put out there. And I don't care what anyone says, I felt like that almost pick 6 that Quinyon Mitchell on that out route that Derek Carr almost threw, it felt like Clint Kubiak started to coach scared, and he coached to like protect. You can't like it's just one, and I don't know if that's more an indictment on Carr. I don't know, but some game plan has to be figured out to continue where this team is going to go. We'll talk about it tomorrow on that Falcons preview. But for them to go 3-1 and have like a very very strong lead in the NFC South would be huge.
Huge, man. And this time of the year, you're just trying to figure out ways to win. Sean Payton always used to talk about it. There's going to be games you're not going to be healthy. You're not going to get your best foot forward. You're going to have a bad first half or whatever. Things are going to go wrong. But you got to dig deep down and figure out a way to win and not figure out a way to lose. Against the Eagles, they figured out a way to lose.
They did, bro.
When the game was right there for them to win. They didn't figure out a way to win. They figured out a way to lose. Whether you want to blame that on the offense, on the defense, whatever. There's plenty of blame to go around. Derek Carr, whatever. Plenty of blame. I watched that tape and I
Big
mean, it
sicko.
was the offense, the offensive line. It was probably the worst performance I've seen from them. Man, probably 2 years. I can't even think of a worse performance last year.
Like even
Like
one in week one against the Titans with Trevor Penning getting beat by Arden
right,
Key. Like
it was mostly
I didn't even
Penny.
feel it was mostly like one player. It was like a collective failure. All like it was like a
All
unit
across.
failure.
A unit failure, bro. Penny was getting beat. He was looking crazy. Ruiz just got a clown suit put on him, bro. Like this was old Ruiz. We used to make fun of him right here, bro. I was like, oh no, Ifuaga, he got beat a couple times. It was bad. So Clint got to figure that out. Got to figure that out. Look, he knew what he was going to face. He knew he was going to face that 6-1 front. You could hear like the line calls from Derek Carr saying 6-1 and checking the different things, but whatever they was checking to wasn't working. Like
Wasn't
it was
working.
figure something else out. I'm not smart enough to know, but you gotta figure it out. Because other teams gonna look at that and they gonna copy that. You know what I'm saying? Now
I'm
every
gonna
team won't
yeah,
have the personnel that the Eagles have,
correct,
but
correct.
still, I mean, there's a lot of athletic D line out there.
I want to read this statement from the chat, and then we're going to go to our sponsor, and then we'll catch up on chat questions. But Lob 32 CD says, "I'm sorry, but a starting NFL quarterback can't have 59 yards entering the fourth quarter. Can't happen."
I mean, I hear you, man. I hear people. I mean, we was on the Discord arguing, Brian and arguing to 2 in the morning last night. It just, I have no problem. Y'all know me. I have no
Yes,
problem criticizing Derek Carr, but this game right here,
it's
it it just wasn't that type of game. It wasn't his game. It wasn't his game. Now he wasn't perfect. There were things I didn't like, but for the most part, Drew Brees would have had issues against
yeah.
the Eagles. Like against that front, it was a rough out. It was a rough out.
There there was there were there was a couple of plays where even when he got protection, and I don't know if that was indicative of like the secondary and the back end, but I felt like there were plays where he got 2, 3 seconds, and it felt like the old Derek Carr was back for a little bit, where he was just
There, there,
maybe he
there
didn't have
was a
anywhere to
couple
go with the
times.
ball.
There was a couple times, but the more frustrating times when he did have time, the ball got bad. It was like four
Got it. Yep,
times the ball got
sure
bad,
did.
and it was like a perfect play that Clint would
Perfect.
have
Yep, it
called.
was.
And
Yes,
it's
it
like,
was.
oh, just want to pull your head, and that's on him. That's on him. You gotta, I don't know, like somebody say sidearm or something. You gotta figure out something,
Figure
bro.
it
Like,
out. Figure
so
it out.
yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
We will be back catching up on the YouTube chat questions and finishing this mini episode of the Saints Black Party podcast, catching up on the Erik McCoy injury. We'll be back in a minute. We are back, catching up with the chat. So right now we got 39 concurrent viewers on YouTube. We appreciate you. This was, kind of a, I don't want to say super last minute, but we did want to put something out here because it was a very big thing that dropped, regarding the Saints today. Our dude Zach Attack said, with every team dealing with crazy injuries this year, will Mickey and Gail still accept that as an excuse for DA if things go south?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Hope not, but who knows? Who knows?
It's time for DA to prove himself, bro. Like
Thank you.
this
Thank
is
you.
how coaches of the year, coaches
Hmm.
of the year awards get made. When you saw Kevin Stefanski last year with Joe Flacco, I mean, yeah, those are quarterback spots, so those are like high physical. But when your team banged up, back against the wall, man, that's when you show something. You're a
I'm not
defensive
gonna.
genius. Get that
Can
defense
I?
ready to stand tall. Like,
Can
come
I?
on, man,
Can
show
I?
me something.
We. You brought up a great point. I'm going to bring up right now. We want to talk about the Seattle Seahawks 3-0 with Mike McDonald. Kenneth Walker goes down. Zach Charbonnet defense humming, nigga, humming. At some point, like even our dude Cody, and this is not to go back to the Eagles recap, but even our dude Cody Alexander, make sure y'all on that Field Vision if you haven't download the app. Um, he was like, man, cover one on 3rd and 16 is a choice.
It's a choice. It's Cody. Cody got no but respect for DA. He talks highly of DA. But
He, but if there's someone's football opinion and football insight, there's certain people. It's like Cody, Greg Cosell, Baldy, who all have on this podcast. Like those are the like that's like the Matt Wall, like those are like the football opinions that like mean something. And I don't know what it is, and maybe that's something DA has to look at, like internally, because we have seen so many times of these comebacks where all the defense needs is just one stop. And whatever it is, CD Dude's getting trucked by George Kittle,
kiddo,
uh, Dallas Goddard. It's
Minnesota
been a plethora,
Miracle.
bro. Just so many, Ryan. Just
So
the
many.
list goes on, nigga. I don't
Even
have
in
the.
that Dallas game last week, which it was it didn't matter because we had put up so many points, but there was that Minnesota Miracle esque play.
Yep,
It's like, why do these things have to always happen? Like, why do we get
to
these
us.
plays? You know.
Let's see. Just catching up
Meanwhile,
with the chat.
everybody talking about, Mel Kiper talking about get it. We need to ban two high safeties because we need more points. It's like, why they ain't working for us?
One of the most asinine takes I've ever heard in my life. Marcelo said I felt was awfully similar to how we lost to the Eagles, just how the Eagles lost to the Falcons. Eagles were winning the whole game and then came to a final minute drive and an interception killed the final drive. It did. It's, just looking back at that game, it's just so funny to have like the different, like hearing people with different opinions, because um, there's some people who like, it's like you said, bro. Everybody's hands dirty when it came to that game. Everybody's hands are dirty. Everybody's hands are
Everybody,
dirty.
bro. You can
But
point to so many different things
so
that
many.
went wrong.
But I just say if your defense essentially forced 5 turnovers, 2 turnovers on downs, 2 actual turnovers, and a missed field goal, 60-yarder. That was on Nick Sirianni for being a fucking dummy. But they still kept them out of field goal range, right? Your defense forced 5 turnovers. Your defense held them to 15 points in 2024. Say whatever you want to say about 3rd and 16. I get it, but honestly, too, yeah, the defense, like, but also like, is that on the defense or is that on the defensive call? You know what I mean? Like, is that on the players or is that on
It's it's why you got to look at the whole game because
right?
to me it's because you had a defense on the field way too much, way too
It was
much.
not complimentary football.
What
You are not
exactly?
you are rarely going to win games if you do not play complementary football. The defense tried to just hold on as long as it could the entire game. The special teams
They
gave you a
got him
block punt,
third. Like they got him to 3rd and 16. Like you know what I'm saying?
third and
Like
16. so at
it's
the,
just
so so the way I looked at it is that the defense relented the touchdown, right?
yeah.
Right. If you play in complementary football, to me, the defense is like, listen, we've been holding it down as much as we can all fucking game. Yes, we fucked up. We did not hold on when we needed to. We gave up the touchdown, but you are the offense. You have a minute left. We've been helping y'all out. Can y'all bail out? We've been bailing you out as an offense the entire game. Can y'all bail us out? You got a minute left with one touchdown or one timeout. Go score a touchdown and bail us out like we've been bailing you out all game. That would be complimentary football. That didn't happen. Period. It didn't happen.
Yeah. And look, like
Um,
Lombardi
go
talks
ahead.
about this a lot. Bill Belichick. A lot of teams are not in great shape around this time of the year. You know, I mean,
Yes.
this is why we saw across the league these major comebacks. I mean, the Ravens gave up a bunch of points at the end of
Ooh,
the game.
that was getting dicey.
The 49ers, you know. So you see, like, it's, man, the defense was on the field a long time. And
A lot, bruh.
I'm not excusing what they did because the stuff that running into each other and all that, like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that
Look,
whether it's early in the game or late in the game. You just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was just one of them games. To me, I just go back to the offensive line because if your offensive line is able to protect just a little better, that means
right.
the offense is able to score and sustain drives, keep the
Yep.
defense off the field, and just everything works just a little bit better. So it just all falls back to that for me. And and look on from a defense standpoint, look man, like y'all gotta stop them on third down. Like there's too many
Oh, for
times
sure.
where
Yep.
we had
Yep.
them on 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 8, and Alante Taylor misses a tackle, or this guy misses a tackle, Will Harris misses a tackle. Can't have that, bro.
Something that one of my stellar good friend slash source questioned when they watched the game back, and in a little ways, it reminded me a little bit of that Green Bay game when Romeo Dobbs just started going off in that fourth quarter, and Da didn't make any changes. They said, now if you see Dallas Goddard killing them offensively or killing them defensively, excuse me, if you're going to run man, at what point do you not put your best cover player, which would be Marshawn, on Dallas Goddard?
Especially when you ain't got no wide. I mean, especially after they knocked out Devontae Adams. Like
No AJ Brown, no Devontae Smith. Like that's we
that's the
talked
stuff
about.
that
If you
drives me.
if you are a defensive guru, a defense like master class, all this, please do not take this as us going on a long anti-DA rant. Will it evolve to that later in the season, depending on how the team perform? It might
We'll
be,
see.
but for right now, it's not an anti-DA rant. But I will say this: we have seen, like, there's been concrete empirical proof. TJ Hawkinson had a career high in yardage against the Saints. There was no, they had no answers to it. Romeo Dobbs in the Green Bay game, maybe put your best cover corner on Romeo Dobbs and switch some shit up. Go to the sideline, figure shit out. Maybe in this game when they don't have any wide receivers, bro. They had fucking Dotson out there and who else? I don't know. Maybe put your best player who maybe he was a little out of shape, but he was pretty much he practiced all week and say, listen, 23, you own him. He don't catch shit against you. It's
Don't
that
catch
simple. Like
shit.
that's football at some like in some ways is that simple, and it like those lack of adjustments make the huge difference. Lob 32C said Lattimore was in the slot on that 3rd and 16. For what? Alante was playing great all game in the slot. I don't know, bro. I don't know what the coverage was. It was cover one. Cody told us it was cover one. It was cover one. I don't know why you run in a cover one on 3rd and 16, but this next stretch, you got the Falcons, you got the Falcons, Chiefs, Bucks, Broncos. Yeah, Damn. Yes, that's correct. All this season to me, like this theme of this season, we can talk about Clint Kubiak all we want. The theme of this season is DA has to show the fan base, show Gail Benson, show Mickey Loomis that he can like he beat a good team finally in the Dallas Cowboys. Like that you can say he finally beat a good team. But can you do that consistently enough that warrants you to be a head coach in the NFL? Like that's what it truly is about. It's like that's not an an agenda or anything like that. It is simple as that. Can you do this consistently enough where you are beating good teams in the NFL? You can't use the Erik McCoy excuse as if shit goes to shit because every team has injuries. Every team has injuries. You have to get in the lab and figure it out, and we'll see, bro. Our dude Brian, this is not the Falcons preview. We're gonna wrap up. Didn't want to go more than 30 minutes. Brian said that this next game against the Falcons is the biggest game in DA's and Derek Carr's stint as for like in their Saints career. And I kind of agree with him, bro. Like you have the chance to go a game and a half above the Bucks if you beat the Falcons on Sunday and have a big lead in the NFC South. But if you don't, this it's a huge game. It's a huge game. We'll get to it tomorrow.
We'll get to it tomorrow, yeah. But
We will.
it is a huge game.
It is. Anything else? No cap, no filter, Saints. No cap. I apologize, bro. We will. If it's just me next week, it might be. We will be on the show, bro. I was supposed to be on No Cap's pod tonight, and then we had to do the emergency mini pod for the Erik McCoy injury. But he said offensive depth has been a concern all season. If it could have been another two key players out instead and still have the same outcome. Like if there was no AK Alave or Shaheed and Fawaga. I mean, at some point too, this is something my friend also said is like, where was AT? Like this should have been like an AT Perry game.
Where's AT Perry?
Bub,
Juwan Johnson, Bub Means. I mean, it looks dire. Sometimes you look at, I'm like, man, he got Mason Tipton out there. Love Shaheed, but it's like, damn, bro, we asking a lot for Shaheed. Huh? Like, and can we?
A lot.
Somebody said this in the Discord. Like, can we get some Chris Olave featured? Like, you put that chart up in the Discord, and he's just like winning all these routes. He's winning all these different coverages. It's like, man, like, can we get something going there? Like, not to make this a fantasy thing, but the dude a dog, man. Like the dude,
he's a dog, man.
Like use your dog.
Probably a good idea not to trade Chris Olave, right? I don't know. I don't know, but might be a good thing not to trade Chris Olave. Anyway, thank y'all for joining on short notice. We had 46 people like tonight on short notice. Like it's crazy. Truly, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We will be back tomorrow night around probably our usual time previewing the Falcons game. This is Falcons hate. Listen, Saints fans, I need y'all to listen to me right now. Move on from the Eagles game. Move on from it. What's done is done. What's done is done. I need to see Falcons hate, disdain, just disgust on the timeline. I need to see it in the Discord. I haven't been seeing it enough because everyone talking about the Eagles. We lost the Eagles game. But if they win on Sunday against the Falcons, they go a game and a half up in the NFC South. Bring the fucking hate against the Falcons. We need it. We need it. It is not the end of the world. Please. They're 2-1, right? If you would have told us prior to this season that they would have been 2-1, Panthers, I think we all kind of put as a win. But they beat Dallas. If they had beat Dallas and split against Philly and went 2-1 to start the first 3 games, we would have been content. Now the first 2 games kind of like,
yeah, living in the clouds a little bit.
And and say what you want to say. I think it all like maybe that game on Sunday, just go a little bit, just
Yeah.
a little bit, and kind of they can kind of recalibrate and what have you. But bring the hate. Our dude Zach with the 4.99 super chat, we appreciate. He said thanks for the
What
show
up,
tonight,
Zach?
fella. For the tonight show, fellas, on the week 4, baby. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. We on the week 4. We talking about we about to talk about the Falcons. Um, we will be back tomorrow, probably around our usual time, which is 8 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. But we'll confirm the times and put that out as we do. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We will be back tomorrow with the Falcons preview pod. With that, we're out.
Peace.